Forward here. Are we live?
Excellent.
Yes. Live on Facebook. Yeah. Do they hear us through the mics on Facebook, or is Facebook still through the phone?
Through the mic up there.
All right. Well, now Joe's voice is the first thing we're gonna hear when I edit this goddamn thing. Thank you.
Just know where to start.
All right. Here we go, boys. In 3, 2, 1. Hey, everybody! It's time for another episode of Chicago 60 Podcast. And do we have a show for you tonight? That's right, we just finished up our first pregame show, so we will do a Bears-Packers recap. We're going to talk about the NFL having just started. We're going to talk about black athletes. Should they go to black universities, or should they stay where they are? And then of course, we end every episode of the week with Jagoff of the week. It's now time for, gentlemen, it's time for podcast. All right, cue music. I'm going to edit all that out and just add the music.
We'll get a little better with that.
All right, well, welcome everybody. It's time for another episode of the Chicago 60 Podcast. I'm going to edit all that stuff. Welcome everybody. We are super excited for, well, first of all, we have, you may notice that we have a bunch of new shit in our face.
Y'all notice some hardware around here?
That's called microphones, so that we sound a lot better versus the snowball we used to have. So
hey, I miss that old snowball.
I know. We should just put it up. We should put it up in the middle.
That's right in the middle.
And
you know
then
what?
stick the Chicago 60 sticker on it.
Yeah, bring it back.
It's a we can't get rid of that snowball.
Yeah, it's to let y'all know and show you all where we came from. We don't forget where we came from.
Yeah, I got it. You do the podcast.
Norm is gonna put on the sticker for the snowball. That's our mascot.
That was still quite a step from the Facebook Live.
Indeed,
It's true.
From the phone, the sound sounds much better off there. If you've been watching the Facebook Live, you should listen through the podcast, through the actual podcast.
Correct. You should go to
It sounds
iTunes
a lot better.
and listen to it on the podcast. It sounds amazing.
Absolutely.
And as we're speaking, I just downloaded pregame onto my computer as an MP3 file, so that's going to be coming out very shortly. So that's cool.
Nice.
Gentlemen, one thing before we start, let's give a cheers to the podcast.
That's right.
Do you hear that sound?
Can you hear me now? Yeah.
All right. Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm your illustrious host, Justin J. Ward.
That's right.
And next to me, well, sitting across from me, is the other co-host.
Hey, how you doing? Storm Norman. What's up?
Norman is here. And then we got the rest. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, we have the rest of we have the entire Chicago 60 crew in my apartment at this time.
Studio.
We've got to my left.
That's me. It's Ron.
What was the beautiful last nickname you gave him during the...
It's Ron, no bandwagon,
No
Van Russell.
That's right. I'm no bandwagon at the tailgate.
That's right.
Today, we back in the studio, so I'm back to being Ron.
Now he's just Ron. He's Vesa man
That's
Ron.
right.
So we got Ron to my left, and then sitting next to Ron we have.
Nah, I don't have a cool name yet.
No, you're just Joe.
Ryan's gonna give me one.
I'm gonna get a good name for him.
We're gonna come up with a nickname for Joe.
One of the, during like a podcast, we're gonna find it out.
Yeah.
It's gonna be that's it.
It's gonna be
that's
it.
All right.
That'll be that. So yeah. And then we have Manny Fresh. We got him to come out. He's here.
Man,
he brought.
You gotta say hi to face to him.
Man, he's back.
Yeah, we got fancy lights up in here. We've got all kinds of manner of goodness going on right now. It's phenomenal stuff. So let's get into the actual juice of the podcast now. So, all right, gentlemen, we got to start with. So we did the pregame show. We had Charlie Barons from the Man Talk Minute on.
That was great.
We had Steve Tate, NFL owner from the Packers on. We had Bill Flores.
Yeah,
Billy Flores, and then all the defense guys just joined him behind him, which was not what I was expecting.
They
had his back.
It was great, and they all fit in the Facebook frame too, and they had their D in the fence.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that was a welcomed treat.
I felt
for
safe.
all. I did. Yeah, and I was like, nobody's gonna fuck with us now.
No.
So that was wonderful stuff.
It was a much better show than the game. You guys really outperformed.
Oh man, Joe, don't give me.
If only our performance is what would happen on the field, they definitely would have at least scored more than 3
Wait a minute,
points.
you guys had a great kicker. So I say that, I mean, way to go.
If it wasn't-
You worried about kicking, and
If it wasn't,
Thank you.
yeah,
and
he
there
helped
it
us
was.
out.
There it
Yeah, are
was.
we cheersing to this?
I mean, I feel like a
Eddie
raise.
Panero.
Thanks, Eddie. Thanks,
Yeah,
Eddie,
thank
for putting
you.
us
Thank
on the
you, Eddie.
scoreboard. We had a big donut at 9.
Mhm.
And then, of course, Tim Shanley from the CBTC was on with us. And we're going to have a lot more other
Absolutely. Shout out
characters
to
on
Tim.
for the other games.
Yeah.
So the next one that will be when the Broncos come to town. Good old Denver Broncos.
Mhm.
So we'll be back out there. We're going to be out there all season long. And that should be fun, a lot of fun. We'll have a lot of different types of guests. Because the nice thing about the CBTC and that whole environment is that they have fans from all over the country come, depending on who the Bears are playing
Yeah,
for those home games. So we're going to have a bunch of kooky characters on there. Plus, we're always going to have, kooky characters. We got some kooky characters coming on there.
That's great, dude.
Well, you know, I try my best to please the people.
The
as they
old,
say.
the geezers
That's
out there.
that's
That
right.
was-
All the
that's
old
straight
geezers.
That was
Yeah,
a
that's
geezer
right.
term right
That's that's right. So it'll be a lot of fun and come out and they're at at the current moment they're at 1720 South Wabash.
Yeah.
That's the Chicago Bears tailgating club.
Mhm.
Let me use my
That's right.
alliteration there. The
Yeah.
Chicago Bears tailgating club at 1720 South Wabash, downtown in the South Loop. You can go and find them on Facebook. They're only on Facebook. Let them know that you're with us if you want to join, or just come out to a tailgating event and see us and our show, and have a couple 2-3 beers, maybe a couple brats,
Top 4.
maybe a beef, a bunch of other things, and have a few laughs with us. It'll be great times.
Some
So-
smoked meat.
That's
Smoked
right.
meat, man. You gotta get that smoked meat.
They gotta get that smoked meat. That's what it's all about. But anyway, so that was a good time. We're gonna be doing that, so it's gonna be freaking awesome. So do that. Now, because we did the pregame show and it was about the Bears and Packers, now we're gonna talk about what actually the fuck happened, which was horrific, and our thoughts real quick. So let's. Yeah, because it should be entertaining. I'm hoping we're gonna be just as entertaining as Ed Obradovich and Doug Buffone used to be, because this shit was fucking ridiculous.
Terrible.
And I want to yell
Yeah,
many
I'm
things.
not happy.
So,
I'm still upset.
Ron, let me throw it off to you real quick.
Let's
What are your initial thoughts from the game that you saw?
Very lackluster. Well, okay, here's the thing. Our starters did not play preseason, so Mitchell was starting to wake up a little bit in the second half. Looked like he was starting to get his feet up under him. But still, 3 points. Even coach was like, seriously, 3 points. Yeah, we gotta do better. We gotta do better. We'll do better next game.
Yeah, I would tend to agree with that. I thought they definitely looked like they were not in sync at all, the offense. The defense came out to play.
Defense,
Boy.
yeah.
They had, and by the way, you predicted on the pregame show that they would have at least 6 sacks, and they did have 6 sacks. So that was a good prediction.
Hey, I know, and Charlie looked at me like I was crazy.
I know,
You know,
but
so
his offensive line sucks.
Not
Speaking
the
of suck a brat. But I do think that the defense was amazing. Aaron Lynch and Leonard Floyd, I think they had 2 sacks apiece. That boy, Leonard Floyd, boy.
Leonard Floyd is definitely stepping up. Proud of him. He's definitely living up to his draft status.
Doesn't hurt when you have Khalil Mack on the other side.
Absolutely. I mean, he elevates everybody's game, so you can expect for those guys, especially the linemen and linebackers. You can definitely expect for those guys to do their thing.
Well, particularly when he's getting double teamed. I mean,
True.
he's just going to leave. I mean, Leonard Floyd's had a fucking ridiculous year.
You should.
So,
Hope so.
he
And everybody else.
But he did it of his own merit. Like, there was one sack he did. He bull rushed the
He
fuck
did.
out of the tackle and then got to Rodgers by
Absolutely.
himself.
Yeah.
So I think he's going to be pretty phenomenal.
Hope so.
Now, Norm, you're not typically a Bears fan per se.
No,
You're from the
not
Carolinas.
Yes, I am.
You're from the Carolinas.
I'm from the Carolinas. So
Which
I'm
Carolina
a
are you? You're from North Carolina.
No, South Carolina actually.
That's right.
But I lived in North Carolina too. So
Did
it's all lumped
did
in one.
you see what your boy wore to his press conference?
Listen, we're not gonna talk about that. He has his own type
That's
of
hold
style.
on,
So-
we'll get to that. We're gonna get to the rest of the NFL later. We're
you're
on
right.
Bears
I'm
Packers
sorry.
right
I'm
now.
thinking exactly.
But-
Cam Newton, I love the dude, man.
Yeah.
But he looked all right.
He looked ridiculous. We'll get to that in a minute. We can talk about whatever we want
We'll
in
save
the
it
next
now.
segment. But
All
we're Bears Packers right now. So Norm, you
Yeah.
are an honorary Bears
I am. I'm proud
fan
to be.
being with us.
Yeah.
So did you see the game?
So I saw the highlights.
Okay.
I saw the
All right.
important
Wait,
stuff.
wait. There were
It's like he took a
highlights.
clip.
There were highlights.
Yeah,
A lot of it
yeah.
was a lot of defense, and then my favorite part, and I will say this again, Pinheiro, him kicking that field goal was one of the moments where you saw him keeping his job. and it was the funniest fucking thing I've seen in
No
my
offense,
life.
probably keeping his life.
Like, really, because he made it, and even the announcers like laughed.
Everybody.
You're like, all right,
You're
there's
like-
a kicker in Chicago.
They were like,
He got the loudest roar of the whole game.
And Matt Nagy, did Matt Nagy watch it? Did he see Pinero make the field goal?
I'm assuming so.
I mean, Joe, you were watching the game. You should be able to answer your own question.
Well, I saw it. I saw him make the field goal.
Well, you were watching a television
So I don't
screen, so
understand why Nagy decided not to let him kick the next one.
Correct. That's correct.
Well, you know.
All right, well,
you don't
let
want
me-
to double doink it. So.
Let me. So just some initial thoughts. So any initial thoughts from watching the highlights?
So I mean, it was really disappointing, and I will say that I did a lot better. I crushed it. So if you don't know, if you don't know, that night I went home and I Twitch streamed a game in honorary of the Bears.
In honorary?
In honor.
In honorary?
In honorary. In honor of the Bears. So my score was Bears 41.
Nice.
Boom.
Packers 6.
That would have been a much better score line.
Yeah.
Now,
I would
and
love
I
that
will
game.
admit that in this moment, the Packers 6, I was playing with my girlfriend, and she scored her first Madden touchdown.
Oh,
I was
that's-
so
that
fucking
is-
proud.
That is worthy of
I was
praise.
so proud.
I know you didn't want.
Yeah.
So you blocked the extra point on her.
Oh yeah, no, I smashed that shit. I was
Out
like,
of my
you scored a
house.
touchdown, but fuck no.
I'm
We're not
gonna
going that
I'm
far.
let you get this 6. That's about it.
I was so proud, and then I tore the rest down.
That's
But
fantastic.
yeah, no, it was great. It was very nice.
Well, good for her for sticking it out for 41
Yeah.
points.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
She
it
was-
was. She was like, I'm
I would
done
be-
with this game. Fuck this
I'd be
game.
throwing the controller. I'd be swearing like the fucking
Yeah.
sailors out in the docks.
But
I'd
I
be
mean,
fucking
that
pissed.
worked for 6
Scored
though,
like
and she
yourself.
got it, and I was so damn proud. And then I scored a few more touchdowns. But yeah, no, it was
You
great.
gotta show her who's still boss.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
like,
Man.
but yeah, no. And then I also kind of had the game on my phone and talked about the game, and the game just didn't do anything. So
All right. Well, that's phenomenal. I love everything about that. I just wish next time
Can we
could
get
watch
some
the video.
highlights of your game?
Yeah.
Oh hell yeah, I
That
got
would
it.
be.
I got it. I definitely have it.
Yeah, you're right, man.
Yeah, I'll have it.
Maybe you can send that tape to the Bears.
We
They
should
can watch
just
your
do,
tape.
we should just do a
This is how you
review
play.
of the Bears game and just show Norm's highlights.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be so funny, dude.
Like,
That'd be great.
this is the game that we watched.
This
Yeah.
is getting
We
into
watched.
Charlie, and we're like, what are you talking about though? We won.
Yeah. what are you talking about?
What you talking
What
about?
the fuck are you talking about? Fake news. Fake news. All that's fake news. We won.
10-3 my ass. No.
All right, Joe. Any initial thoughts before I got a couple of hot topics.
No, I just no.
Hey, one thing
I got
about Joe, he's not gonna waste any words.
I
man.
do like
That's
that,
it.
yeah. All right, well, here's a couple things I had thoughts-wise that I'd like to get your guys' thoughts on. So one thing that I noticed in
What is that, Justin?
well, one thing I noticed in the game was the play selection from Matt Nagy on the offense was pretty pitiful. I thought there were several 3rd-and-1 situations where they went for a pass instead of just running it up. I mean, they didn't utilize David Montgomery. He had like 6 rushes for 18 yards, which is ridiculous. Because I thought, I mean, why they're using the other guy, Davis, more than Tariq Cohen and their first-round draft pick, and David Montgomery. I'm going, what the hell is going on here? He's a third running back. Why are we using this Miles Davis guy? Other than the fact that his name is Miles fucking Davis.
Yeah.
Is he-
Wait,
like, is
his
this
name-
motherfucker gonna come
it's
out and
Mike.
play a fucking saxophone?
Is it
What the hell's going on here?
Is Mike? It's Miles?
Is it Mike? I thought it was Mike. Is it Mike?
I think it's Mike.
Ah, shit.
That's okay.
Oh,
Whatever. He's
yeah.
Miles Davis now.
We're gonna call him
motherfuckers.
Miles Davis.
We'll call him out.
That's
He's
pretty
Miles
funny,
Davis
'cause
now,
that's
and I
pretty
hope he
awesome.
plays every snap with a saxophone or a trumpet in his hand.
No. Every time he
That'd
gets
be
a
hilarious.
touchdown,
Yeah,
we
he
gotta-
just
we just-
Nah.
He's gonna play some jazz in there.
Staley the Bear just has his trumpet and he just plays the trumpet. So I was a little upset about that. There was no running game at all, and Mitch Trubisky, can we just say he fucking sucked? Like there's memes going around where it's Fred from the Mystery Machine and Scooby Doo, and he pulls off the mask of Trubisky, and it's Jay Cutler smoking a cigarette, wearing number 10.
Man.
That's hilarious, by the
Jay
way.
Cutler
So to
would've
be
done
fair,
better.
I did play with Jay Cutler because I was playing Madden 2015.
Oh my
So
god.
Jay Cutler won.
Oh my
Jay
god.
Cutler
God.
That's the
Yeah.
only time that ever happened.
Jay Cutler did
Oh, you are
fucking
there.
job.
I hate to say this, but
Definitely send that
Jay
tape to
Cutler would
Cutler.
have done better than Trubisky in this game.
I do almost weirdly agree. He was on the sidelines, by
Yeah,
the way.
it was.
You think he was watching from the
He's
sidelines
like,
being like,
kidding?
oh,
Hey,
man.
wait a minute. I can't agree with that. I'm sorry. Cutler against. Okay, First of all, Cutler sucked ass every time he played Green Bay.
That's true, but his defense didn't hold him to 10 points.
And then
True.
he would go and just like hug the hell out of Aaron Rodgers after the game. You know what I'm saying? So it's like
I aspire to be.
yeah, like it's like, you know, dude, like show some damn loyalty for once. I don't know. I think he would have probably threw like 2 picks. You know, at least
He definitely would have thrown some picks.
he
That's
definitely
for
would have
sure.
been throwing it to
Yeah.
Green Bay. So I mean, Mitchell is still a young quarterback, y'all. We gotta remember that. Didn't play preseason. He's not like Aaron Rodgers, who can not play preseason and come out there and do what he did.
Right.
You know, so he's still learning. He's still learning. It's week 1. You know, we lost to the Packers.
Do you think the reason why the offense was really that bad is because they didn't do anything in preseason? Because that is what
I think
everybody
so.
on the radio is saying. Is it really it?
I'm going with that because you need that. You need those snaps. You know, you need that. You can't just like be in practice because one, Mitchell's not getting hit. He got the red jersey on in practice, so you can't touch him. They were saying the same thing about Aaron Rodgers. They were like, you know, he needed to kind of get hit a couple times, and once he got hit a couple times, he was starting to feel like himself again because you can't. There's no simulation for that. You gotta get hit. You gotta
Except as an NFL game.
unless you're playing bad in the locker room.
Right.
And,
There's no simulation for that at all.
you know, so yeah,
It's pretty much the same thing.
Yeah.
it's all the same.
Like,
So I chalk it up to I think they're gonna have a better game next week. They're gonna have a better game next week.
I
Better
think so.
show.
I'm sorry, yeah, that's right. And I totally screwed that up. The next pregame show is when the Vikings come to town, not the Broncos. The Broncos are next week, so my error there. I'll correct myself. But yeah, I definitely think they're going to play. But here's the thing that I think, Joe, you had mentioned, is that Vic Fangio coaches the Broncos right now. So,
Yeah, if I'm being, it's really, really hard to be an optimist as a Bears fan. But I'm gonna do my best to put my optimistic hat on.
I want you to eventually have an optimist hat.
And just kind of
We gotta
put it on.
Honestly, the Bears are good for
Hold on, Joe. I got a hat for you.
Because
Here
I'm
you
an
go.
optimist.
Put that on, Joe.
Sure.
That's the optimist hat.
I'm
You're
an
gonna be
optimist
Santa Claus.
throughout my
Take a
life,
shower
in
for
every
it.
part of my life, except being a Bears fan. Being a Bears fan has taught me how to see balance in the world. But anyway, I can only hope that this debauchery was the result of Matt Nagy anticipating his matchup with Vic Fangio and spending the entire preseason scheming on how to beat Vic Fangio, and then being determined not to show anything of that in this first game so that they could see it.
Wow, I love that.
That
thought was great, Joe.
I'm not sure the first game to our biggest rival on
I'll
the
go with that,
opening of the
Joe.
100th season of the NFL,
Well,
so I can beat the guy who used to be my defensive coordinator.
Matt Nagy's biggest rival might be Fangio.
I think that was a Chuck Pagano thing because he's like, look, we got a new Godfather. We got to beat the old Godfather.
Hey, listen. You can lose the battle and win the war. And maybe the war is that.
Well, I mean, they lost to the Packers last year
First
in the first game, and then they went 5 straight wins.
Which
so.
loss was worse?
Last year.
I don't know. This one's pretty bad.
No, it's not, y'all. Look at it.
It was 10-3.
It's 10-3. It's 10-3. You know, Aaron Rodgers is known for like putting numbers up, like embarrassing the hell out of us. It wasn't an embarrassing loss. We just lost.
That's true. Actually, which one is worse? Because last year he came back and was basically playing.
Last year was
and
worse.
scored 3 touchdowns, and this time he only scored 1 touchdown,
Mm-hmm.
which, to be honest, almost didn't happen. It was the only reason why they did was because of one play.
One play, dude.
One play, the
One
defense
play.
lost it
Yeah.
because they did a play that the defense was not expecting. It was a good play.
Yeah, it was
A
a
rollout to the left,
Exactly.
which they weren't expecting.
But the thing is, I knew that play was about to happen. Like, I knew it was happening. So it's like, here it goes. And then like, yup, right in the middle of the field. Like, he does it every time. So it was no surprise to me. Hands down, last year's loss was worse because we was kicking their ass.
Yeah.
We hurt him. He's playing on one leg. And he just got into his offense. All he had to do was get the ball out of his hand. He got our defense tired. We couldn't do nothing with him.
And also, I mean, Khalil Mack he hadn't been practicing, so he wasn't 100%.
Exactly.
And I feel
True.
like the defense came.
The defense
I
came
am
with
not worried about this defense at all.
about
They're going to be number one. I mean, they held probably the GOAT, if not one of the best quarterbacks of all time to one touchdown.
Yeah, he had one touchdown.
I mean,
in a first week of quarterbacks putting numbers up, like I think the average touchdown passes was like 3. Like everybody had 3 touchdowns yesterday.
Yeah.
And Aaron Rodgers normally that guy to put up 3-4 touchdowns against us. So the fact that he left with 1, I'm fine with it. Everybody like want to just say that the season is over with. No, it's not.
And if there's one thing that Nagy is, it's he's an offensive-minded coach. He calls the plays. So I have a feeling. I mean, look, Joe and I were driving back from the bar, Reggie's, and I was watching the conference that Nagy was doing, and he looked the most uncomfortable in that press conference that I'd ever seen him. He knew he done goofed. Okay, he's like he should. In fact, he should have just come out and been like, looking everybody. I done goofed. I done goofed real bad, and I'm sorry. I'm gonna make sure the offense is better against the Broncos next week. Yeah, and then it would have been like good impersonation of whatever the fuck Southern guy that was, and don't do that again. Just play better, please.
Listen, if to Mr. Trubisky, Mr. Mitchell, if you need someone to come and hit you on a daily basis, you can pay me. I will be your current constant. You won't know where I'm coming. You'll be on the toilet, and I'm like, time to get hit, and I'll just kind of pop out of the shower.
Hey Mitchell, this dude, he looked like one of the guys that you're in the locker room with right now. So I mean,
if you pay me enough, I will randomly hit you at different places.
You'd be like that guy in that one commercial who the linebacker who comes in the office and he just like tackles the linebacker in the office. He just tackles everybody.
But I bet you if we implemented
that was
this,
a freak.
He'd be like eating dinner, and all of a sudden he'd see me come out of nowhere and he'd dodge it, but keep the plate in his hand like I'm fine. Mm-hmm. And then when he's on the field, he's like, "This means nothing. They're all slowly moving at me. I can just."
He just turns into Neo from the Matrix. Zeros.
Yeah. And then the next week I'm like, okay, it's Super Bowl week. I got friends.
Yeah. All of a sudden he throws a ball and he just teleports to the other end zone and catches his own pass.
And he's like, I've evolved.
Yeah. I love it.
I'm a real quarterback now, and there's Brady just looking at him with his 5 rings on his hand. It's like, oh no.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I think the Bears will definitely do a better job against the Broncos. They're not as good of a team. Fangio being first-time head coach, I mean, his defense will probably be good. I mean, the Broncos typically have a very good defense, but I think, I mean, look, Nagy was a first-time coach last year. Yeah. He played a first-time coach in LaFleur. I am the coach of the Packers. I am LaFleur. Okay, he played LaFleur.
I really wish LaFleur talked like that.
Yeah. That would be a fantastic press conference. Hello everyone, I hope you enjoyed the Packers game against the Bills. I had missed I did it myself. I know the Bills.
How do you feel about Aaron Rodgers?
I think Aaron Rodgers is the best person in the world, and I wish I could grow a mustache like his.
That stash.
It's just nothing but cigarette smoke.
Yes. Holding a baguette. Wearing a beret.
Just slapping people.
So he's playing Fangio next week, who's a first-time head coach also. So I mean, we'll see. I mean, after that we're playing the Redskins, which should be a win, and then the Vikings come back to town. We'll be at the pregame show for that. So I mean, those are gonna be a couple of. I mean, realistically, I can see us going either 3-1 or 2-2. That's my prediction. It's not an easy open. But I don't know how the Broncos have fucking Flacco. I mean, if our defense can't shut down fucking Flacco, I mean, even the alliteration, fucking Flacco. I mean, come on, Flacco is no great shakes of a quarterback.
Nah,
he's slow as shit. He's like a pee-wee version of Tom Brady.
He's got a gun though.
He's a gun.
He's got a gun.
Oh.
Wait, he
pulls out a gun and comes back like, yo, man, I'm sorry.
Whoa, calm down. It's just ball, man.
This guy right here, man.
It's the South Side.
No shots fired.
What's wrong with you, man?
No shots fired, Justin. I mean, he's got a cannon for an arm. That's what he's known for.
True.
So as long as we keep him contained, I'm not worried about Denver. I'm not worried about Vic. Vic had to leave. That's his first chance he had to, coach. Of course, he's going to leave. We miss him, but. I got Chuck can get the job done. He's a former head coach.
One Italian to another Italian, a baba boy.
It's true. Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll get more to that next week. We'll probably do something for that. Anybody got predictions for the game? We're not doing a pregame show.
That's right.
Because it's not going to be a home game. So what do we got for predictions? We'll start off with you, Ron.
Bears, it's going to be a close one again, but we will score some points. I look at 17-10 Bears.
Okay. Joe?
Sorry, I was distracted by watching us on Norm's phone right now.
Nice.
We're live.
We are live.
All right, wait. What are we doing? Predictions for Denver?
Bears Broncos.
Oh God.
Come on, Joe.
What
do you got?
All right. Oh jeez. Okay, Broncos 3.
Okay.
Wow.
Bears 13.
All right.
Wow. Another
we win.
19,
We
19
might actually win.
You sure about
Your
that?
confidence is pushing me off my chair right now,
Joe,
Joe.
you seem like you're a little.
Jesus. You need a fucking Xanax over there? Fucking Christ, bro.
Yeah,
Somebody
man.
Manny, you got some Prozac over
Hey.
there? We need some Prozac.
He's got to need an espresso or something, man.
Jesus
Give him
Christ,
something,
I have an
man.
espresso machine. I'll make you some espresso.
What happened in our second game last year? I don't
Who
remember.
the fuck knows? It doesn't matter right now. Bears Broncos. Make it. You're 13-3.
13-3 Bears.
Boy,
Yeah.
Jesus, I'm glad it's a Sunday game and not a fucking Sunday night game. That's what would be horrific.
Playing
I can't
playing
have another
baby.
Chris Hollingsworth special.
You don't like
Well,
those?
this game sucks. Fuck that fucker. Norm, what you got?
Hey, you see them? They had their little vest on last week.
And the
Oh, and
hats.
the hats.
Oh my God.
Those hats.
They're the
Oh,
best.
man.
Oh my God! Thank God they took those things
man.
off. They were ridiculous.
Justin,
They should've kept
are we
it.
gonna give a shout out to Charlie Barons?
Yeah, we should.
Yeah.
Justin and I watched the game with Charlie.
Correct.
Thank
At least
God
The first half.
he left in the first half.
Thank God.
That
We
would
were
be
still
awesome.
winning when he left.
That's right.
I guess
He
he
thought
went,
it was bad.
I guess he
Initially,
went
like,
to
this is
go
bad.
have a pep talk with
Yeah.
Rodgers.
He might have. All of a sudden, he shows up in the halftime. He's like, "Hey, Derek Rodgers, you gotta do better, okay, Derek guy? Because I was on the Chicago 60 pregame show, and let me tell you something, there, guy. I got a shirt that says 'Don't be a ditka' from that guy, and I don't like that feller too much. So you gotta win the game, there, feller, or else lots of Packers fans are not gonna be having the sex and having babies and naming them after you. So you gotta go out there and beat those Bears, okay, there, guy, and get some cheese skirts."
Hey, we cannot let them
Damn,
have
Charlie.
more
Like,
Aaron
your
Rodgers.
Charlie gets
impression-
aggressive.
Like your Charlie impression is kind of on point. You must be upset about that.
Maybe I am Charlie. Where's Fred from the Mystery Machine? Charlie's here.
No, really, he was a great guy.
I would
He
have
just-
got away with
but
that
I'm
if it
really
wasn't
glad.
for you guys.
I'm really glad he wasn't there when.
Oh man, it would have been horrific.
Dude, that would have been the longest game in the world for y'all if Charlie would have stayed for that whole
Oh,
damn game.
man.
Y'all would not have stayed for that game.
No, I booked it right
Hell.
after.
I was in the house because I was watching the game. My neighborhood, he's like, my neighbor had it on the projector, so he's watching on the neighbor's house. So it was like badass, but the game sucked ass. So I took my ass in the house, but the game was over. Because he's a Packers fan.
That must be really nice though. Like, you know, fuck this, I'm going home and take 3 steps away.
I literally took 3 steps away. I like finished my beer, tossed it right there in the garbage can, went right in the house. Yeah.
All right, Norm, what's your predictions? We can.
All right, so here's the thing. The real game, I know nothing. I won't be able to predict anything, so fuck the real game. I'm going to give you the game,
The Madden
that
game?
the Madden game that I'm going to be
I
playing
love
that
that.
night.
The best
I'm going to give you the real score,
There you
and
go.
then we'll see what actually happens. So it's going to be Bears 51
Yes.
to Broncos 7. Okay, I gotta hold my girlfriend.
So
for it.
she's
your girlfriend gets the extra point.
You're
You're
gonna
gonna
let
let
her
her
get the point. I'm gonna let her get the extra point.
Does she score on the offense, or is another interception when she scores?
Oh, see, you don't have to bring that
Ah,
up.
it's
Are you
because she'll run it back.
letting her get it, or do you think that she's actually going to
No,
improve
I
enough
think
to
she's
get it?
going to actually improve enough to get it. I will
She's gonna
slip
get it.
up,
Hey.
hit a wrong play.
You know what she's doing right now, right?
What?
She's out playing Madden.
Actually, no, she was playing Breath of the Wild. I was watching.
That's what
So,
she did.
yeah, no, right? She turns everything off and like, nah, fuck this game.
She's
no,
mad.
she would
She's like,
pull some
"Yeah,
shit like
see you
that.
later." She like got her gun out and
Yeah.
she leave, get in the car.
She would pull some shit like that, like, oh, you know, I'm so bad at this game.
If she's playing Eye of the Tiger, they
Yeah.
repeat the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but that's my
Hours.
prediction: 51 to 7.
Well, I think the Bears' offense gets it back on track. I think Nagy's going to push the hell out of them. I think they're going to put up points on the Broncos. 'Cause I think Fangio. The only thing I'm a little worried about is Fangio knowing exactly how Nagy's offense is. So I don't think it's going to get crazy. I think it'll be something like I'm going to go 23 to 13 Bears over the Broncos.
All right, I can live with that.
Shit, let me write this down. Let's put a poll.
Yeah,
like a bet.
Norm, let's
Yeah,
put
yeah,
this
this.
on. Losers buy the beers.
There you
Okay,
go.
done.
Losers by the beer.
Done. So,
We're gonna
Justin, go back
Looks
to
like looks like Norm's buying
Justin,
beer.
23-13. Bears 23, Broncos 13.
Okay.
From Justin.
Okay.
Joe's got 13-3.
I got what I say, 17-10.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Did they play us? Or are they playing today?
Who?
Are they playing right now? The Broncos.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
They
Broncos,
play
Broncos, Raiders.
Broncos.
We're missing the
Well, we
game.
haven't
actually.
even seen
Broncos,
we haven't seen
Raiders.
it.
I can pull it up on. Well, my phone's being used for the live. Otherwise, I got the NFL app. Put it up.
Well,
We'll
no
put it
one's
up
watching
for
the
you once
comments.
we're done.
If you're watching live,
Yeah, let us know the
give us the
scores.
score of the Broncos game,
Yeah.
please.
All right.
And
Well,
Or I can get it.
that works too. Well, let's moving right along in utter news. Let's start. The NFL actually started legitimately yesterday, and it's happening right now.
Oh, it's not even on yet.
Any other thoughts from around the league? Any other games that you all saw that were interesting? There are a couple of things that I saw that were quite interesting. Lamar fucking Jackson crushing it in Baltimore.
Oh yeah, he really answered the bell talking about they like he's just a running back.
Fucking Flacco.
That dude, what 4 or 5 touchdown passes?
Yeah, 5.
I mean, they put up 59 points.
Yes, that was a funny thing because there was an article that came out where they were saying that Miami players call their agents asking to get traded to other teams.
They're saying
They're like, fuck this, we're out.
They're saying Miami's trying to tank.
Yeah, that's exactly what
it
they're saying.
sure as hell
Trying to
looks
get draft
like
picks.
it. I mean, because they got they asses blasted.
Yeah.
You know what's great about that is that Detroit and the Cleveland Browns have been doing that for years, and Miami's just like, okay, I'm gonna do what you do, and they do it better.
Well, they're in Miami, so they're just partying the night before. They're not even really practicing what they're doing.
They got things to distract.
They're just on boats with women partying.
It's just Miami, dude. It's just they just
Boats,
outside.
bitches, and beer.
See,
and blunts.
only-
Boats, bitches, beer, and blunts.
The
That's
only
what Miami's
reference I have to Miami is Ace Ventura: Pet Detective. So that's
I'll tell you what, Ace Ventura Pet Detective could play a lot better than the fucking Dolphins did.
Yeah,
He's a
Dolphins
white
got
man with a weird hairdo. Probably couldn't even wear a helmet.
Yeah, they got smoked.
Yeah, they got smoked. Patrick Mahomes
Patrick Mahomes
doing his
He
thing.
did his thing. I think he had like 389 yards. He had 3 touchdowns.
ridiculous.
Like I said, everybody had 3 touchdowns yesterday.
It seemed like it. Yeah, I mean, there was. How about the Patriots over the
I was
Steelers
about to
last
say that.
night? Wow.
I mean, so
Wow.
and then they're adding, you know who?
Right, and we'll
We'll
get
get
to
to
that.
that.
We'll get to that
But
later.
they, 33
Spoiler
to
news.
33 to 3. Yeah, I mean, Tom Brady looked like Tom Brady. Josh Gordon was not on weed or anything, so he played. Josh, stay off the weed, man.
Stay off
Stay off the weed.
Stay off the weed.
I understand, man. But
He had a great touchdown catch.
you are a pro athlete. You don't need the weed to stay athletes.
Wait until you have CTE and you need it.
Off season, dude. Just smoke it off season, man. All right.
Get Will Smith to come in here.
You know what I'm saying?
Give him some readings of his brain.
Hey, man.
Yeah, I found that game to be interesting. The Steelers looked. I mean, hey, at least there was one other team that only put up 3 points. That's all I'm gonna say.
It's true.
Did they also not play in preseason?
No, they definitely did. Mike Tomlin is not Matt Nagy. Mike Tomlin's like, y'all gonna play.
Yeah,
It's the preseason.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah.
There's that.
There is that. Cowboys cleaning up against the Giants, but the Giants have not been very good at all.
No. It looks
Not
like they're
recently.
going to be passing the torch. Eli looked like he's going to be coming out soon, and their rookie is
Yeah.
going to be stepping in.
Yeah, it looks like that. It looks like that. Eagles beating up on the Redskins. They had a massive comeback, which I found very interesting.
Yeah, and whatchamacallit? I can't think of the quarterback's name. Jesus
Carson
Christ.
Wentz.
Yeah, Carson Wentz looks real good. I
Yeah.
like Carson. He
They have a
reminds
very strong team,
dude.
man.
Hey, I'm not a Philly fan, but they are loaded. They are probably the deepest team in the league, and people are not going to really sleep on them. They're going to be a problem.
No, they're gonna go. I think they're gonna definitely make the playoffs. That's a
Absolutely.
scary team.
Look
right
for, Carson Wentz. He's gonna put up numbers. Look for him to be another MVP candidate. He will be.
Yeah, he was looking really good. Now the reason why I wanted to bring up the Cowboys and the Eagles game in particular
Dak.
is because Dak actually had a game. He's like, pay me, motherfuckers.
Dak's trying to get paid,
and
man.
now he's going.
He's
to get paid.
going to get paid. He haven't. They might wrap him up now.
Yo, every time the coach calls a play for Zeke, he's like, nah, fuck that shit. I'm gonna throw this bitch.
He's like, hey, go out. For
I need 40 mil, motherfuckers.
Amari Cooper got a touchdown. Yep.
Yep. No, he played really well, and he earned himself his big bingo bucks, and now he's just gonna hand it to Zeke for the rest of the season. It's like, I paid, motherfuckers. I'm out.
Drop the motherfucking football.
Boom. It's like, hey Zeke, you got this for 15 games, cool, bro.
All right, man.
But here's the thing. So Joe and I went out for brunch.
What? Y'all
Yeah.
didn't tell?
Yeah.
No, did you know about this
No,
brunch
that's what I
experience?
just heard.
Mm.
No, I didn't know shit about that.
I know why.
We were
I know why.
We were.
I know why. I know why too.
I bet you do, but we were in a nice neighborhood, so we don't want to bring you folks. When we went to Zany's, you're the two only black dudes in there.
Hey,
I was
we
like,
walked in Zany's last
shit.
week, y'all. I feel like the show just like stopped.
And I love that.
To be fair, it was full of Wisconsin people, right?
That
Yeah,
right at the time.
to be fair.
Yeah.
But to be fair, Justin, after the show's over, the lights are on, he goes, hey guys, I just noticed this. You guys are the only two black people in here. I'm like, well, you just noticed this? Like, we just
noticed-
walked through the room
noticed
all
when
the
we
way
walked
to the
in.
back.
It was dark. I couldn't see people.
Dude.
I thought maybe it was somebody who was darker skinned,
In
but
the corner
they just were shaded because they had no light on.
No, are you always aware, like, of any situation? Are you always aware of being?
Yes.
No, always.
Always.
Yeah.
We always go, we're the only black dude in the room. Always. You know in the first like 2 seconds, you're like, I'm the yep.
And then when you spot one other, you're like,
You do
oh
the
shit.
You do the he could be down the hallway when you lock eyes, it's like
And it's a complete understanding.
it is.
It's like that
It's like
Dave Chappelle
you're-
joke on the plane with the Nigerian guy.
Yeah, no, you do. You
You know what
like
I'm talking about? Dave Chappelle, he's got that joke where he's like, yeah, man, I was on a plane and there's a terrorist who tried to do some shit. And at first I saw that there was another black dude on the plane. And he wasn't really black, he was Nigerian, but we both knew. And everybody goes, I think those black people are going to try and save us. I was like, nah, motherfuckers, we both knew. We were safe. They ain't gonna try and take black people hostages. Nobody wants those people. I thought that was the greatest joke. That was so funny. But yeah.
and it's true.
You can, yeah, very, very true, unfortunately.
What were we
Fortunately. I guess that's a perk. Is that a perk?
Hey,
I don't know.
we don't get that
Yeah.
many, so
Yeah.
we'll take
Yeah,
that
We'll
one.
take
it was
it.
alright. Everyone was really
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah,
you
big
gotta
dicks and
wear the
don't get
optimist-
are never hostages.
You gotta wear the optimist hat sometimes.
Yeah, that's right. Wear the optimist.
That's
Yeah,
true.
everyone was really nice. It was
All right,
really
all right. Let's bring it back though. So Cowboys, Eagles. So Joe and I are at brunch.
Mhm.
We'll invite you next time.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Can we choose a
And
place?
You definitely can. Just
Somebody's like, hell no.
Englewood Brews. Except it doesn't open until 2020.
Can I say fuck no louder, dude? Hey, turn up a volume.
Stupid.
Fuck no.
Oh, fuck no, man.
Oh man.
Terrible.
They reached out to us. We might go do something with them, but not until spring of 2020 apparently. So there you go.
We'll try to keep that account.
But hey, shout out to them, Englewood
Shout out.
Brews. Go check them out when they finally open. So we were at Commonwealth in Roscoe Village, corner of Damon and Roscoe. So
Are they a sponsor now?
they might be after this, but I don't know if I want them to be because they're a Cowboys bar.
Oh.
I know. Who knew that Chicago had an underserved Cowboys market? The fuck? There was a lady that came in a car. She named herself Lady J. They gave her like special access. She had like a reserved table. I'm like, who the hell is this woman?
Really? No, it was a Cadillac DeVille.
It was a Cadillac.
Oh,
DeVille.
shit.
From like the probably early '90s, and it looked nice.
It was a pretty sweet looking car. I'm not gonna lie. It was
Lady
pretty
J,
nice.
huh?
What did the license plate say?
It said spoiled. So it said with the word spoiled and a space and then T. So you go spoiled. And she looked like she was spoiled. I'll tell you what, she had all kind of manner of weave, and her nails were about the size of one of my fingers. It was crazy.
She seemed like a very nice person.
She did seem like a very nice woman.
Sounds amazing.
Yeah. Anyway, so Commonwealth, that's where we ate, was a Cowboys bar. Now, here's the funny story I found out from the bouncer. And the funny thing is that the bouncer's not a Cowboys fan, wearing a Cowboys shirt. And he goes, yeah, I know the owner. And he had me come out and bounce because normally he doesn't have anybody be a bouncer, but he's a Cowboys bar. And the guy across the street that just opened up his bar, they used to be business partners, but they had a falling out. And it's now an Eagles bar. So you've got a Cowboys bar across the street from an Eagles bar.
Wait a minute.
And fans were yelling at each other. 2 Eagles fans walked right through.
Hey,
It was crazy.
somebody will get shot before the season.
No
over with,
shit.
dude.
That's why they had a bouncer on the outside. They're like, this shit gonna get crazy.
So this dude was his former business partner. He actually bought a bar across the street
The
and
Redwood.
made it
That's
Eagles
a
bar.
great fuck you.
Dude, that is
That's a
gangster.
great-
This is
you
like-
know what? That's a great fuck
There
you.
was and the guy who was the
Bravo.
Cowboys owner, Bart, he used to own an Iowa bar. So the Eagles guy, he's now an Iowa bar now. So he's got Iowa flags all the way up there. I mean, just a big old middle finger right to this guy. I mean, that's amazing. This is like a Chicago version of the Hatfield and the McCoys right here. I mean, we're gonna be monitoring this throughout the season.
No one's gonna make it, and
Yeah.
by the end, they're just gonna be sitting there like, I wish we would have never done this.
We used to be brothers in arms, and now we hate each other. We don't know why.
That's a good Southern accent. You
Oh,
got
wow,
there.
thank you very much. I've been working on that all
We are
night.
not that bad.
Norm's like, we do not sound like that. Yes, you do.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I bring that up. But yeah, it was a very, other than the Bears-Packers flop, the rest of the games were pretty exciting. Had some major blowouts, had some exciting games here and there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just excited that football's back.
So
It's
am I.
pretty,
Yeah.
pretty great. It was a great weekend. Everybody was out excited and having a good time. So,
Coming back.
is there anything that you all are really excited about for this football season besides probably the Patriots winning another goddamn Super Bowl?
I'm not excited about that.
Yeah, nobody is.
Nobody
More
wants to
tailgates.
see it.
I'm excited about that. Tailgate was fucking great.
It's a great
really good
experience.
food. So
At the CBT,
Yep.
CB, what?
Chicago Bears tailgating club.
Chicago Bears
CBT.
tailgating club.
yeah. So
What did you specifically like about it, Norm?
That's just beer's like making me yawn, man. Like, is it like?
yeah, right. It does that. It
It's
does that.
Polish-
It is
it's Polish beer, that's
It's
why.
Polish
Oh,
beer. It
it's
is.
okay.
I'm feeling the same thing.
Dude.
Because like every sip I take, it just gets a little bit more tired.
That's my. Let's go like pass out. I'm good.
All right, what do you got against Polish people and our beer?
Nothing against
Alright.
Make
Polish
us
people.
sleepy. You make us sleepy.
Well, it's a bigger bottle for no bang. Like, it's just,
This is
I'm
true.
thinking like, oh man,
Yeah,
it's
like, we
I'm
can't
like
drink.
looking for it. Where is it?
yeah.
Like, where is the power at?
It's
I'm
like-
just joking. It's
All
good. It's
I like
Manny
that
Fresh will back me
sensation.
up. He's also half Polish like me. So.
Okay beer.
It's good.
It's just
It's good.
No,
It's like a voice.
It's okay beer.
It's okay sheen. It's okay sheen.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah,
It's okay.
okay beer
Okay.
from Poland. But yeah, so Norm, so what did you like about the tailgate specifically?
So I mean, for one, the food was fucking great. We didn't really eat anything till like the last minute.
I know, right?
We were busy as shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, next time we gotta plan that out.
Yeah, I know, like a little bit more. However, like I'm so proud of Manny too, being like out in the
Shout out
fucking
to
weeds
Manny,
and shit. Like just like I have pictures of him just in the dirt, just like fixing shit and like setting shit up, and I'm like, I think that's poison ivy, but Manny don't care. So just
I'm
out.
Mexican, it doesn't affect me.
See, this is why
Manny
you
Fresh
need to
says
be
because
mic'd
he's
up.
Mexican, it doesn't matter.
This is why you need to be mic'd up, man.
Yeah, right.
Also, mic'd up,
But
man.
really, just a quick shout out to Manny Fresh. If it weren't for Manny Fresh, I mean, a lot of things. Manny Fresh is an integral part to this crew. We love
Yes,
you, bro.
he is.
He does all of the stuff. He's taught us things about equipment and everything. And
He's
a big reason
waiting,
we have
but
this stuff.
he doesn't want to come on the camera.
Yeah,
I know.
he's a little camera shy, but he handles cameras all day. I just want to say.
Behind the camera.
Behind the camera.
But then I loved all the people too. They were all fucking like different fans, and
Yeah.
they're all just kind of hanging out and chilling and talking to each other, and just
Yeah.
having a good fucking time. And I mean, we started there before any of the big trucks moved in, and then the fucking big trucks came
The
in.
big ones
Oh,
now.
damn!
He's
and-
like,
The command
How
center.
big
Yeah.
were they?
they were huge. Like, I mean,
like when they back up, it's
yeah. And we're talking small entrances. These aren't like big ass entrances. They're like, hey, everyone, back up!
Yeah.
And there's a huge ass like semi coming past you,
massive.
and you're like, what do you mean back up? Like, we need to really get into
Yeah,
the other lot.
like you gotta like grab people out the way so they don't like
Yeah,
get right over
right.
and shit. Because it's like these big motherfucking trucks coming through here. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But it was
yeah.
dope. It was amazing.
Yeah.
I really
It got a little. It got a little rowdy at the end.
Oh, it got rowdy.
It got a little
Sure,
rowdy.
yeah.
Oh,
There
I
was
bet he
things
got
that
rowdy.
happened.
There was rowdiness.
Hey,
There was tailgate.
Hey,
Yeah.
let me
What?
talk for a minute. Let me talk.
Rowdiness at a tailgate? Whoa!
No,
Whoa, that sounds preposterous.
I don't even believe that.
Yeah.
But,
Really?
but I love our guys who are like, no, you can't talk right now. You're gonna have to wait.
Yeah,
You got to stand over here for a minute. No, this is important.
yeah.
So no, it was really good shit.
Yeah.
You should. Good job, guys. Good job, guys.
Good job, everybody.
Good job.
We're excited for the next one.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's on that note, let's move right along in Otter News. All right. So there was an interesting article that I found that I think we should give a few minutes to. There was an ESPN, or she a former ESPN?
She's former ESPN. Now she's a writer for the Atlantic.
Got it. So she's a writer for the Atlantic now. Used to be on ESPN. Jemele Hill. Jemele Hill, and she came out with an article recently that basically, I'm going to give a synopsis, a summary of this. Basically, she said that college athletes, black college athletes, should go back to smaller, predominantly black schools to make the football programs and other sports programs a lot better so that more people want to go there, and just give those universities an opportunity to get more money, sponsorship, things like that, notoriety, and things of that nature. Instead of playing for all the big schools that they are currently, that are predominantly white-run, white-owned, whatever. And that was basically it. That's basically her point. Just like, yeah. So here's why this is an interesting thing, and here's why it comes under controversy. And I really wanted to get Ron and Norm's thoughts on these, and because Joe and I had a bit of a conversation. Joe has some interesting thoughts, and he did some research and things on this as well. So it should be an interesting conversation for a little bit. But basically, the big controversy is people are calling her racist or a pro-segregationist, because they're basically saying, trying to get more black folks who are really good at sports to go back to predominantly black universities, is trying to get people to go and support segregation like it was before, back like Jim Crow days, and things of that nature. So that's what the big controversy is about. I would love to get your guys' thoughts. I have some thoughts, which will be interesting to throw into the mix. But I want to give this. I'm going to give Ron and Norm the floor here first to give your thoughts.
Is that not hilarious though? Like they're like, oh, so you're saying black people should go to black schools? You're being racist.
We should clarify for people who don't know. Jemele Hill is black.
Right, that is true. Jemele Hill is also black.
No, really?
Well, just people might not know anything.
I don't think I've ever met a white person named Jemele.
Well, that's probably true.
There is no joke that, hey, that's fantastic, but my middle name is Jamal. So I've never met a white person in any of the states that I've ever moved to that was named Jamal.
You know what? Shout out to white folks. Start calling me Jamal.
Can I name my kid Jamal?
Please do.
That'd be dope.
That would be amazing.
There's only one white Jamal I know, and there's actually, I don't know him. He was in a movie. I think what was that, House Party 3? Yeah. The pajama jam.
Yeah.
Remember Jamal? Yeah. That's the only time. Yeah, dreads.
I didn't realize
Yeah.
That
only
That's
time I ever heard of
actually.
a white dude being named Jamal. So yeah, if you ever have a kid named Jamal,
Yeah, Jamal.
Where is it? Is that name like from Africa? Like originate? Like how did these?
I think it actually not to get completely off topic. I think it's Arab.
Jamal.
God damn it, Joe. Would you stop getting us off on tangents? We have enough
Good point.
topics to talk about. Where did the origins of the name Jamal come from? The fuck is this?
We might have to table that when it comes back to it.
We're not tabling, we're scrapping it. It's a horrible topic to discuss. We're not a show about name origins and origins.
You don't eliminate.
Joe, you can start your own goddamn podcast for that. Fucking Christ.
We're gonna talk about
Alright, so back to Jemele Hill and fucking black athletes going to black schools. Fucking hell. Alright. Norm and Ron, can the white person please let the black dudes talk? Jesus Christ.
Right.
Fucking shit, Joe. As soon as Norm starts talking, Joe's like, excuse me, I'm a white man. Let me give my opinion first.
Let me distract him. Think of something else. What about your name? I'm like, yeah, my name.
What is my name? Alright, Norm, you were saying some shit.
No, it's funny as shit because she ultimately was saying like, hey, listen, black athletes, these colleges are already making so much money off the students in general, just alone. And so the fact that they're making money off of these athletes as well, and their programs are making money off of these athletes, and these historical black colleges who have brought on some of the greatest thinkers and movers of black history, of even history in general, they're not getting that notoriety, that funding, that boost that all the other colleges get.
True that.
And so to say, hey, as black athletes, maybe you should think about some of these historical black colleges before you think of these big colleges that are going to get you your NFL contract and all these other things. Because on top of that, they're going, you as a black male, as a black person in this world, you also need to be highly educated. Because if you break something, they won't care about you anymore. Nope. Your career is over. But if you have the knowledge and information and mind, and they put you through these programs as well as they're giving you something, but you're giving them something at the same time.
Absolutely.
Because I didn't go to a historical black college. Later on in life, I would have loved it. It would have probably been, it would have been a great experience. But I think all she's saying is, hey, black athletes, before you think about going to these big schools, think about some of the smaller historical black colleges or even the larger historical black colleges. Give them an opportunity, give them a chance to actually enrich your entire life and not just football.
Not just football. Yeah, or your athletic career.
Mm-hmm.
People trying to say that Jemele Hill is racist. I don't agree with that. We already know what a racist person look like. You know, we got one in office. You know, this guy want to be a weatherman and all types of stuff. But Jemele Hill, it's like a witch hunt. Ever since she made comments about him on Twitter, and that's why she got in trouble with ESPN. She no longer works for ESPN. And did she talk about positive things about black people need to acknowledge and, you know, get their shit together? Yeah. So she don't hold back. Like, she speaks, she tell it like it is. What she's talking about is athletes having choices. Because they do have a choice. They choose what school they want to go to. I mean, hell, some of these athletes have like a press conference where they got the hat sitting up on the table, and it's like, which hat is it gonna be? You know, oh, I'm about to put on this, you know, and it's like Vanderbilt, you know, or you know, USC or something like that. I get it. Going to those established schools, those high-powered facilities, of course, you know you're gonna get all types of attention. But if you show that love to a historical black university that definitely needs the recognition, not only are you going to get the education, but you'll also be able to help an institution like grow. And all she's talking about is choices. That's all. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you choose to stay and go to a white, because here's the thing, not just in football and on basketball, they talk about how these universities they're making billions of dollars off of the sweat of these athletes. And, you know, yeah, it's white athletes too, but it's predominantly black athletes. And then they say that they don't care about them. They talk about how athletes should be paid. NCAA makes so much money and all this stuff. Well, that's one of the reasons why I think she's saying, okay, well, if you want to go somewhere where people really would appreciate you, you could go to a black school. And it's just an option. She's not saying everyone needs to enroll. She's not saying, but guess what? These black universities, they're not just for black people.
No.
Anyone can go there. It's not just for black people. It's any race, creed, whatever.
You should go to a black college.
You know, so I just thought that people are trying to just like attack her because she speaks her mind, and she's not someone who's up here not afraid to speak how she feel, what's her honest opinion, and that's all that is. I think it's crazy that people are trying to call her like a racist, call her out. It's crazy. I don't think it's crazy.
That makes you gentlemen make some interesting points. I have some thoughts and some questions as well, but before I get to those, like I said, Joe and I were having some conversations about this, and Joe actually has some interesting backstory on this that I think would be some good context. So Joe,
take it away, Joe.
With the history of college football and whatnot, and he did a lot of stuff.
That's a bit much.
Come on, Steve. Now he's like, I don't know anything. I know I interrupted the
I can tell. I
really am not that. Just say your fucking shit.
It's okay. Football. No. Well, I don't know. I don't really know where I was going.
Just start talking. Use words.
But as a comparison, I think an interesting comparison, and just to throw out this idea, is to look at the University of Notre Dame. So turn of the century, around like 1900, or late 1800s, etc. Irish people in America at that time, especially both Irish people in general and then Catholics as well, were low. They were a step above black people, but they were low on the hierarchy of races.
Sure.
The KKK was, well, they went after Catholics as well. Anyway. So Notre Dame was a Irish Catholic university set up outside of Chicago, and most of the people who went there were Irish Catholics and from the Chicago area. And it was, well, I can't say this for sure, but people went there, probably the Irish Catholic student body who went there would not have gone to some of the higher universities at the time. And also they weren't just all Irish Catholic, but I guess other people in general who would not have gone to other universities. It's possible it would have it's possible it would have developed into a predominant university on its own. You can't really say that, but what we can say for sure is that around 1908 or so, Knut Rockne, who was actually Norwegian, not Irish, but he went to the University of Notre Dame, and he turned their football program into a national powerhouse. And not just, he made it the most exciting and most followed college football program across the country, not just in Chicago area, but really across the whole nation. And he set this university up in such a way that they would play the top schools from all over the country, and it gained prominence in a way that people from all over the nation wanted to go to Notre Dame. And through college football, they earned their respect and became a university that people all over wanted to go to. And then towards the end of the segregation days, which was really like the 50s and 60s, there were these black colleges that existed because the students who went there could not go to the other universities.
Right. That's why they were really sucked.
So they went there, and they started to be really, really good at football. And by the 60s, they were not always playing the top universities because they were still kind of looked down upon. But the fan base, college football fans, were starting to recognize the talent and ability that was there. And those schools were just starting to get to the point where fans were saying, these are the real champions right here. These are the real top schools, the top programs. And they were coming out for those games and watching them. And not just black, white people were coming out and watching those games because they knew this is the top programs here. And just about that time was when integration began to happen, and then the same students who used to go to those universities began going to the traditional top programs, and so those schools never developed into the way that Notre Dame did. I don't know if it's an exact comparison, but it's an interesting thought to throw out, I guess.
Yeah, so just to add some color, basically, there's all these predominantly black colleges that had amazing players. I mean, just like in any other sport, like baseball, anything like that. Eventually, white folks got word and got sniffed. Like, holy fucking shit, we suck compared to these black fellas. And so they started getting. They're like, well, maybe we should have some of these people on. Yeah, let's get us some blacks, but pay them this time. That's the important part. Let's get us some blacks. And I just want to say for the record that Norm said that first. So I am now obliged to be able to say that because I'm quoting him. And so that's what happened. And then everybody was like, wow, this is a lot more exciting of a game. And then slowly but surely whites started getting pushed out of all the teams. But really it was because it was just more enjoyable games, which is what everybody wants in general. Yeah. And now we've gotten to a point where football is predominantly played by African Americans and black players, and basketball is like 80 to 85% African Americans and whatnot, which is fine because they're fucking amazing athletes. And it's a very good thing. But now that we get back to the point of Jemele Hill, where it's like and that's why I wanted Joe to bring up his points, because looking at the history of it is very interesting. And I would now that and actually listening to you, Norm, and you, Ron, I've definitely thought of it's you've definitely opened up my mind a little bit to see the situation a little differently, because if it is purely a choice and a black athlete decides to go to a predominantly black school to play and they want to get a more well-rounded education, the way the NFL is set up now and these bigger like the major leagues, you're getting a lot of players that are playing in the NFL that are not from the big schools. Now, a lot of them are from big schools. But, I mean, let's just give a quick shout-out to a former Bear, Peanut Tillman, who went to the University of Louisiana Lafayette.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a predominantly black school, per se, but just to give an example of, like, that's not a big school.
I agree.
And he still was one of the best cornerbacks the Bears have ever had and ever drafted.
Yeah.
I mean, he has a whole move called the Peanut Punch that is named after him.
I mean, to this day, people try to punch the ball out.
Exactly like
he made a career out of that, punching it out. I just want to say one thing before you continue. I agree with that. You know, everyone wants to go to the big schools because they want to be drafted, because they want to be seen. But I mean, the cream goes to the top always. So no matter who you are, where you're at, if you're the best, they're going to find you.
Right.
And I believe that.
That's how this is.
But the majority, the vast you're talking about the cream, but the vast majority of college athletes are not going to the pros. They're not, right?
They're not.
Yeah.
They're not. And you can get a much better education in some cases. Well, because here's a funny thing, and Norm brought this up, and this might be what Jemele Hill was getting at. I didn't read the full article. I should put in a disclaimer, but let me just say, you have made a good point where you'll be cared for at those types of universities. They're going to give you a legit education, because when you go to these larger institutions, some of these players are not getting degrees, anything that would be considered useful. Let's say
they want you to get a contract and move the fuck on.
that's about correct. So I mean, I can definitely see the case for it. But let me just throw out a quick thing. We're gonna have to move on here in a second. But quick question and thought to ponder. What ultimately is better for the black community? For black athletes to go to predominantly black schools to try and, which would probably take generations, to try and make those schools to the level of an Alabama, to a Notre Dame, to Florida, those types of programs, or to go to those programs, maybe focus a little bit more on their education in addition to football, and then try and make it into the NFL and help their families out, which could then, if they make a lot of money and use it well, that's another key, using the money well once you make it, and then helping out their communities from making that well. Which is a better route to go?
It's tough to answer that question. I mean, every person is different. Their situation is different. Financial, you may have a person, for instance, like I'm just gonna use Grant Hill right now. His dad played professional football. Grant Hill played basketball. Grant Hill did not have to. He could have just went to Duke on a academic scholarship, something like that. You know what I'm saying? He just happened to be a tremendous athlete. So, and then you got some people that's coming from urban ghettos. That black university, might not be the sure shot way for them to get to a point where they can help take care of their family. You know what I'm saying? So it really depends. I would like to see more people go to the black schools, because I feel like the black schools need help. They really do. I got a friend right now who's their kid. Shout out to Bryce. Bryce Dean is going to school, and he's going to a black university right now. And he went to my former high school, Mount Carmel, and he's crushing it for volleyball. And they chose to let him go to a all black school. But he's getting, I think he's getting partial academic scholarship. He's not even getting an athletic scholarship. This kid could have gone to schools on a athletic scholarship, but they wanted him to get his education. They felt like they went and visited a lot of different schools, and they just didn't get a good feel. But they went to this school, and they just felt like this is it. He felt like this was it. Like he made that call. So it really depends on the individual. I think education is extremely. I mean, especially if you're playing football, because your plan expectancy is so limited. You just don't know, man. You don't know. I
Just
mean,
look at Andrew Luck.
the contracts aren't guaranteed at all.
No. Money's not guaranteed.
The money's not guaranteed.
Career's not guaranteed.
I'm gonna say this real quick. In NBA, as far as like basketball go, it is not even a doubt. These guys, these one and dones, they're not even going to class. They basically are in class for 6 months. If they're going to class, that's it. They know they're going to the draft. They're going to these institutions that's preparing them to play pro basketball.
Yeah.
So these guys are not going to class. So you're basically taking a seat for someone that can really use that education. I mean, Zach LaVine even said it. He was like, when he was at UCLA, he was like, shit, I don't even remember how long. He's like, I think I was there 6 months. One and done. So in football, if they didn't have that rule that you had to go 3 years because your body has to be physically able to play in the league. So of course, but yeah, I just think that the education is really important, but it's hard to make that decision when you have to be the breadwinner for your family. I think that's what it really comes down to.
And I was also going to say in that statement, it still means so much more to even be there. Like, you may have the option to make all the money and come back and help your community, but being in your community, period. Like, going through college and actually being one of those few people who actually made it through college in your community and then coming back and being in that community, hell, you could open a corner store for crying out loud. That still means you're in your community, you have a college education, so you can tell that one person, that one kid who's like, I'm not really sure about that. You can tell that one kid, hey, no, you can do it, and you can be your own boss. Yeah. That's all that matters, is one day becoming your own boss and being like, I control this. So even if they did go and have that choice of deciding, well, it's between me potentially making a ton of money and coming back and help my community, which I'm not saying many of them don't, but I'm also not seeing a lot of them do it. Right. Especially with the amount of black athletes in the NFL and in the NBA. I'm not seeing a lot. With their money combined, they can create Captain Planet. But they haven't fucking done it so far. So LeBron James is opening fucking schools for kids. Yeah. Crying out loud. Yeah. Like, if all the athletes came together and just started giving money just to help them, I mean, a small piece of their money, our community problems will be over. It's true. But those athletes who went to those colleges and were like, hey, I'm not going to make it to the pros, but I'm going to get my degree, and I'm going to go back home, and I'm going to set something up so that other kids can do the same thing. That's just as powerful as that person making a ton of money and coming out of the neighborhood and going, I'm never going back. Because they see you. They can see it. Yeah. But so they're both good. They're both good, but there's enough black athletes in this world to go one way or the other. Yeah. There's no athletes, actually not just black athletes, white athletes too. Hell, Hispanic athletes, Japanese, Chinese, I don't give a fuck what race you are. Yeah, man, I think everyone should have the opportunity, especially if you are a different race, to go to a historical black college. Go and get that education. I mean, fuck yeah. We'll teach your ass something. Y'all, you gonna learn today.
Or should everybody not go to college and forget about student debt in general and just start their own business right out?
Just
fuck colleges in general, folks.
And just
don't do it.
And start a podcast.
Yeah, let's show it.
That's right. But not one that competes with ours. Yeah, so moving right along in other news. Gentlemen, it's now time for the Jagoff of the Week.
This will be
how you gonna do that now? You realize halfway through, you're like, I'm in this mic, let me back out.
Yeah, I know, I realized that. It's
not the snowball.
I know, I was playing with it a little bit. Gentlemen, the Jagoff of the Week this week is Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown. What a fucking Jagoff.
Who is this guy? I
never heard of him.
Yeah, let me give some context for you, Joe. Antonio Brown was a wide receiver who played on the Pittsburgh Steelers for many, many years. He is regarded as probably the best wide receiver in the game of football currently. True that. Maybe DeAndre Hopkins on Houston is slightly better, but the two of them are almost the exact same. And he and Ben Roethlisberger were going to be regarded as the best quarterback and wide receiver duo in the entire NFL if he had stayed on the Steelers and kept playing. But apparently he had a falling out with Ben Roethlisberger, and he asked for a trade, and he ended up. So the story is he got traded to the Oakland Raiders.
Yeah.
He was with John Gruden.
Chuck.
And eventually he's like, nah, I don't want to play here. This sucks. And because Oakland sucks. And so he's like, I want to get the fuck out of here. So he basically orchestrated his. Well, we'll get into that. But basically, he was released by the Oakland Raiders not more than a day or two ago, and then the New England Patriots, current world champions of the NFL, picked him up 3 hours or so later.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's part of the New England Patriots and will be playing with
People were
Tom
legitimately
Brady.
worried for his mental health.
You
People,
can't make this shit up.
millions of people, I mean, people in the journalist world, professional journalists of the highest esteem, were legitimately concerned for this dude's mental health. And then just a few hours later, people are like, no, he's a genius.
Yeah, he's an evil genius. Okay, so here's some contextual clues. So first of all, Antonio Brown. First let's go back. The New England Patriots wanted Antonio Brown, and the Pittsburgh Steelers, who play in the same conference as the New England Patriots, said, nah, y'all can go fuck yourselves. We're not giving you the best wide receiver in the game with Tom Brady. Are you fucking nuts? And so Antonio Brown caught wind of this, that the Patriots, and he's like, oh shit, play with Tom Brady. That sounds pretty nice. I could do me a couple of 1, 2, 3 rings. That sounds pretty nice.
Mm-hmm.
But then he got traded to the Oakland Raiders. And he's like, oh shit. And so he went over to Oakland. He's like, you know what, I'll try this out for a spell and see how I like it. One day later, he's like, yeah, I don't like this. And he's like, how the fucks do I get myself out of here?
How the fuck?
Yeah.
Ourselves?
That's right. So he started this whole social media campaign where he's basically telling the Oakland Raiders, I hate it here. I hate it here. Hey, I hate it here. Can you get me the fuck out?
Tell us how you really feel, Antonio Brown.
Yeah, and John Gruden was like, no, you're going to love it. I'm awesome. Remember me from like 20 years ago when I was a successful coach, but now we suck. But I'll be better, I promise. And Antonio Brown was like, nah, I heard you on Monday Night Football. You suck, bro. Get me out. And so I saw you on those Corona commercials. You were really bad. So Antonio Brown was like, yo, you got to get the courage to release me. And he got released and he got picked up by the Patriots. Now, there are plenty of reports out there that he had social media experts that he consulted to help him with the social media game, so that he would put pressure on the Raiders to make them basically have to release him. And that's what he did. And there was a big scandal because he recorded a phone call with John Gruden where he's like, just be a fucking football player and all this stuff. And apparently they got permission from John Gruden to tape it and like record it, because in California it's a two-person state, so you need both parties to agree for any recording to ever happen. So John Gruden did that. I mean, John Gruden did everything he possibly could to keep this motherfucker around.
He sure
and
did.
Antonio Brown was like, nah, man, I got my grand schemes.
Sure did.
And now Antonio Brown, starting next week, will be playing with Tom Brady. So let me just get this straight. Tom Brady lost Gronkowski, picked up Antonio Brown, Josh Gordon, still has Julian Edelman.
Yeah.
I mean, fuck me, dude. That's and their defense is way better this year.
Yeah.
Can this end? I listen to Bill Burr's podcast. Shout out to Bill Burr. Please have me on your podcast. But I am so sick of Boston winning fucking championships. This is disgusting. Now, I am an American and I like their colors and I like that their name is the Patriots. But other than that, they can go fuck themselves. And Antonio Brown, you're a Jagoff. How dare you?
Yeah.
Anybody else any additional thoughts before we wrap this podcast up?
Dude's a fucking Jagoff.
Man,
I got nothing else to say about that.
all I can say is, how long will it last? I mean, I would like to see him walk in there and just kind of prove everybody wrong. You know, that the dude, okay, all drama and diva aside, dude is a hell of a fucking player, man.
Oh,
Like,
yeah, he's the best.
the dude is, I mean, he's a monster. But
I have him on my fantasy team. I know what he is. Once I saw him go to New England, I'm like, oh, I can fucking win this league.
in other news, yeah, but the dude is a monster, man, and everybody, he's still a Jagoff. Everybody's saying like it ain't gonna last long. How many games is it gonna be? So I think hey, when you play for the Patriots, man, you gotta buy into the Patriots way. You know what I'm saying? It's all about being selfless.
Yeah, but Ron, have you seen the memes out there about this? So there's a meme out there right now. I don't know if it's a meme, but it's a thing on Facebook where it's 2 photos of Shannon Sharp. And one is Shannon Sharp, and it's like Antonio Brown on the Raiders, and then Antonio Brown on the Patriots. For the Antonio Brown on the Raiders picture of Shannon Sharp, it's Shannon Sharp. He's got a doobie and a do-rag. He's like, wah, like this. And then it goes to the other one for Antonio Brown on the Patriots, and Shannon Sharp sitting in a chair very nicely with his feet, like all buttoned up and everything.
That is exactly. So I'm waiting to see if AB is going to be like that, because if not, and one thing about the Patriots, dude, they have no problems with letting your ass go. It is no love lost.
Oh,
so he'll be gone.
But it's Antonio fucking Brown.
He will be gone. If he does not comply, Belichick will he will send him on the next one.
Don't you remember Flakegate? They'll do anything to fucking win.
Yeah, listen, Antonio Brown, if they hand you a ball, just let a little bit of the air out.
You're right. They'll cheat. But his ass will be on the next train out of town if he is causing any problems, man.
That's true.
That's true.
Yeah, I got to point out. Remember that time, it was one of their Super Bowls. I don't remember which one. They played in too many, but
that's true.
They played in one Super Bowl, and Bill Belichick benched one of his starting cornerbacks
before he even. That was last year.
For the entire game.
Was that 2 years
ago?
And
he lost. They lost. The Patriots lost the Super Bowl, and because I don't know if it was entirely because, but they lost the Super Bowl, and in the game, Bill Belichick had benched one of his starters for the entire game for I don't know, something that was seemingly trivial. But that sets a pretty damn good I mean, it's like one of those things that everyone criticizes him, like, are you kidding me? Like, that you do this? But
that's kind of gangster.
Yeah, but like, you go to New England, when Bill Belichick says, you better do what I say, you know he's for real.
But can you imagine as the confetti's falling and it's like some other team and he's just standing in front of him like, you see what you did? Do you see what you did? We lost this because of you. This is all your fault. I'll get more. And he just has an extra hand coming out of nowhere. I'll get more. I don't need to wait. Okay, this is just another loop around. Like, fuck this one.
Tom's got another decade in there. We're gonna be fine.
I was like, I'll get another one, but
he's on that weird diet.
It's
he's
like
Tom. 10 more years.
Tom is just getting to his prime. Hey, Tom got another 10 left. We're good.
He sounds cool with it.
Here in the Patriots, what we do is we squeeze balls really tightly to let the air go, and we don't eat strawberries. Alright, that is the game-winning calculation.
And we don't eat strawberries, which is my favorite fruit, by the way. How dare you? But anyway, Antonio Brown, you're a fucking Jagoff. You Jagoff, orchestrating your way to the Patriots.
I mean, if you're not from New England, like, at this point, how can you possibly root for New England?
Nobody was rooting for New England except New England fans.
I think
that's how it is.
It's only people from that area
who like
they some straight up bandwagon.
And if not, they're Jagoffs then. Fuck you if you like the Patriots and you're not an actual.
I don't know anyone. The only person I know that's a true Patriots fan. He's from Boston.
Yeah,
so that's fair. I'll give you that.
You're from there, you get a reprieve.
I gotta say, how awesome! Nobody knows what's going on with Mr. Brown, but Mr. Brown. But like,
I don't know why my man invented that. But that's
that out.
By the way, I know, but that's what I thought of as soon as he said Mr. Brown with that voice. I don't know why.
Mr. Brown.
No, to be Cleveland. Mr. Brown. That's nasty. It should have been Family Guy.
There you go.
I don't know why. But Fat Albert came to mind. I don't know why.
You got your own black cartoon.
This is all getting edited out of the actual podcast, but people on the live stream, if you're still watching, will get a kick out of it.
People are signing off for it. They're like, that guy's too racist.
Fucking asshole. What a racist.
He was like the first black cartoon I could think of was Fat Albert.
Yeah.
Shit.
I'm like, Mr. Really? Brown. Oh, God. All right. Well, we got to wrap this up.
No, I just wanted to say, but how cool. A lot of this just pissed me off, but just throwing out this possible scenario. What if this whole thing was, so Brown was just getting really, he had something going on with Mike Tomlin and Ben Roethlisberger, and he's just like pissed off at those guys. And so this whole thing was he just wanted to go play for the Patriots just to give a big middle finger to Ben Roethlisberger.
I mean, that might have been exactly
and
what
the
it was.
Steelers.
I can see that.
And in the fact, he turned down $30 million. He just threw away $30 million to go to the Patriots. But what's this like?
Oh,
not
he's got an option in his contract to
Yeah.
make that money.
First of all, he gonna get his money.
Yeah,
He is going. Antonio Brown is all about the money. He is going to get his money.
What do we know? We don't know anything about this guy.
Yeah, we do. We know a lot about this guy.
We know a lot about
We
this
know
guy.
he loves social media. He has he comes from humble beginnings. Everyone count him out. So, it's like the Kanye syndrome. Kanye was basically, doors were shut in his face, left and right. Dude sat up for like a whole summer making beats. And then he became the monster that he is. So people be like, man, why
And that was how he's partying crowds like Moses in Chicago.
When doors are shut in your face and people tell you, no, we don't want to hear you rap, we just want to hear your beats and shit, you know what I'm saying? And dude's like, I got bars, now I want to hear you. And then you make it, you got a little chip on your shoulder, man. So Antonio Brown, wait until, he's lucky he did not get to that team about 3-4 days earlier. Because he would play last night.
Mm-hmm.
So he's got that day marked on his calendar.
Yeah,
the next game.
I gotta throw out
Because he is going to show
We
his
gotta
ass.
wrap this
No,
podcast
we gotta wrap
up.
up.
Oh,
Come on,
Jesus
I gotta
Christ.
throw it. This
We're at
Man, I gotta
9:50,
go
1
home
p.m.
and eat, man.
Yeah, I gotta
if
go.
he
I
did
gotta
this
go.
on purpose, if he purposely, if this whole thing was just to spite the Steelers,
That's pretty good.
when they play
That's a Jagoff.
it, I mean,
Oh, yeah. They're gonna
what are the
hurt him.
chances that he gets a little unnecessary roughness in their next game?
Well, he avoided one game. He's only got one game to go.
Right?
Maybe he's conveniently on the bench for that one game because they don't need him apparently. But yeah, I mean, look. At the end of the day, regardless of whatever his reasons were, he's a fucking Jagoff for orchestrating this thing.
Yeah, I'll give
So you're a Jagoff, Antonio Brown. I don't care if you're on my fantasy team. I mean, please do well because I need the points. But you're a Jagoff there, guy, and go fuck yourself. Hey, and Antonio Brown, don't be a dick. Be a dick, which is on the back of my shirt.
That's right.
My shirts are out for sale, so
you.
use it.
Nice. Yeah, grab a shirt.
All right, everybody.
Watch theirs.
That was another episode of the podcast, and I'm super excited about that. I want to give a thanks to Ron Russell for being here,
Thank you.
for Joe Nilo for being here,
Thanks, Joe.
and of course Norm, Stormin Norman is here, and also to Manny Fresh for coming out tonight.
Yo, man,
We're gonna have
that's great.
We're having a little bit of a company-wide meeting after this, so I'm really glad Manny Fresh is here. It's always delightful to see you here,
That's right.
sir. So really, thank you everybody for being here. Chicago 60 crew is here now. If you did like what you heard tonight,
Which we
and
did.
you also like all this fancy new equipment, and you'd like to help us get more fancy new equipment that you can watch us use, first you need to go to Facebook, and you need to like and follow us there. So you can go to Facebook, and in the search bar, you can
Please.
type in Chicago 60, SIXTY.
That's right.
That's the word spelled out. And look at it, and then hit that like button and hit that follow button, please, because we got all kinds of cool stuff coming out, and you're not going to see it if you don't do that. You can also go to YouTube and just type in Chicago 60 with the numbers this time. That's a 6 and a 0. And you go there, and you definitely need to be hitting that subscribe button and that notification bell. Because if you don't, you're going to miss out on all the funny videos that we have coming out soon. You're going to be missing out on the pregame that's going to be out on there. You're going to miss out on a lot of shit. So you don't want to do that because that's going to be funny content.
Don't miss.
You're also going to need to go to iTunes or Apple Store or wherever you go and listen to podcasts. You need to hit the subscribe button there, and you're also going to have to leave us a 5-star review because you know you like what you hear.
You know you.
So you got to leave them 5 stars.
That's right.
Because I saw that Chicago 60 is starting to creep up on them search results, and we need to do more because we want to bring you more amazing, interesting stuff that's going to be happening. But if you don't do that for us, we ain't going to do that, and then we ain't going to be seen by all people who might want to learn about this amazing city we call Chicago. So please go to iTunes, subscribe, and leave us a 5-star review. You can also go to our Instagram page, which is Chicago_60. Chicago_60. Follow there because we have a bunch of new stuff that'll be coming out. We're coming out with a whole new campaign on social media and everything. Instagram will be way different than our other pages. We're going to have cool new photos, behind the scenes stuff and everything. So if you're not following it, you're going to miss out on all of that. We're going to be on Spotify soon. We're going to have a Patreon account. We're going to have a GoFundMe. We're going to have all these things. We're going to have all kinds of cool shit for you to buy. We got merchandise coming out. I'm wearing a Daw Bears Don't Be a Dick shirt. You can buy those. Just let us know. We have all that stuff coming out for you and amazing content. including short films, feature films, all that shit is coming out. The Beef Off, which is going to be happening. All kinds of cool stuff is coming out. So if you don't follow us on all those platforms, like Spotify, which we're going to be on by the end of the month, if you don't follow us there, you're going to miss out on a bunch of cool content. You're not going to help us tell people about the amazing city that we call Chicago. And it is great, and it is amazing. That Midwestern town that starts with the C, ends with an O, and has HICAG in the middle of it, Chicago. Okay, so go do that for us real quick once and help us out. And gentlemen, that is the finale of the Chicago 60 episode. So you know that we must end every episode with our favorite phrase. Bear down and fuck the Packers. All right, thank you, everybody. We will see you next week.